Welcome to the Structure Management System video training series. Within this video, I'm going to discuss an in-progress inspection report deck form. You'll notice within the deck form, the deck elements are on the left. The navigation pane is on the right-hand side. And as I collapse the navigation pane, the inventory shortcuts are now on the right-hand side. The inventory shortcuts are exactly that. They're shortcuts to the actual inventory. If you desire to go to the full inventory dedicated to the form that you're on, simply go down to the bottom of the navigation pane to the inventory section and find the appropriate form. The subheadings can be collapsed or expanded for users to focus on certain subsections. As I collapse the navigation pane, the elements text and the quantity units. Each element has a total quantity, a condition, and a type. The inspector can answer three basic questions about each element. What type of element it is, whether it's concrete, steel, what the total quantity is, and what its condition is. Condition question can be answered in one of two ways: using a 1, 2, 3, or 4 condition rating, or element level rating. As I switch to an element level rating, you can see that instead of a 1, 2, 3, or 4 drop down, we have states 1, 2, 3, and 4, with the transition on the far right-hand side. The transition rating, the intent is to communicate to the inspector what they probably would have given this element using a condition rating, but using the quantities that they've placed within each of the 4 condition states. Inspectors are able to toggle between either quantity or percentage within each form based off of what is easier to get the correct data, quantity versus percentage. The total quantity will remain the same. For purposes of this video, I'm going to toggle back to condition rating and continue talking about the deck form with the condition rating. Once the inspector completes what condition the element is in, they're able to supplement with text. And scrolling down to the bottom into the historic remarks, inspectors are able to, if they so desire, to highlight, copy, and paste if they desire to bring in text from last inspection. Or they can decide to start fresh. The element with a red box around its condition, whether it's a condition rating drop down or it's the transition rating, is indicating that this is the lowest or worst bold box within the form, and it's going to key the deck summary or the summary recommended value. So based off of a 2, the summary is a 5 or a 6, and the intent of this recommended value is only to give the inspector an idea or a range in which they should code the 9 through 0. The inspector is able to deviate from this value based off of their experience, based off of field conditions, based off the location of specific deficiencies. The floor/slab is a square foot, and it will remain a square foot. And this square foot is, in the inventory shortcuts, is the structure length multiplied by the deck width, excluding the 2-foot edge. So if you subtracted 4 feet from this value, 38 times 499, that will be the total quantity value. Later in 2014, this value will be reduced by that deck width. The edge of floor/slab is a new value in Ohio, and it is the 2-foot edge. Currently is a linear foot, and it will remain a linear foot. Because it's a new value, inspectors should begin coding this as appropriate. The total quantity is 2 times the linear foot. If at any time the inspector notes that the equation is not sufficiently representing the total quantity, they can simply go into the total quantity and type in the actual total quantity. Scrolling down to wearing surface, the total quantity is square foot again, and it is an equation multiplying the bridge roadway width curb to curb times the overall structure length. Wearing surface type is the display switch. The display switches in the inventory shortcuts are denoted by the asterisks. The asterisks will display or hide certain elements depending on what the inspectors coded within the inventory. Scrolling down to railing, railing is a linear foot, and it will remain a linear foot. And it is 2 times the structure length. And its type can be coded in the inventory shortcuts as well. Those inspectors familiar with the BRD6, the previous inspection field report, they remember item 69.1, the first box, which is from the Federal Recording and Coding Guide 36A, bridge railings. Inspectors should code whether or not this railing meets current acceptable standards at the time of the field inspection with a 0, 1, or N. Scrolling down to the next element, which is drainage. Drainage is an each. The inspector should code how many scuppers exist on the structure, how many drain holes. If it's over the side drainage, how many sides there's drainage. So most structures, if it's over the side drainage, the quantity would be 2. And this is a total quantity that's a 1-to-1 value where the inspector simply codes how many within the inventory shortcuts, and the next time this form is refreshed, it will populate the total quantity in drainage. Expansion joints is a linear foot based off its type. And quantity, the inspector codes its condition and supplements condition information within the text box. Curb, sidewalk, walkways is also a linear foot. If there's only one on one side of the structure, the linear foot is the structure length. And that linear foot includes the sidewalk on top and any specific structural supports on the underside. Median is also a linear foot, and these elements are not present based off of the inventory, communicating that these elements do not exist or are not present on the structure. The form view is designed such that non-inspectors can go in and populate inventory shortcuts to help the inspector pre-populate the total quantities. All cells that are yellow are those values that are brought in from the previous inspection, and that includes text boxes. All cells that are white are those that are new to this new inspection. To navigate to the next form, the inspector may expand the navigation pane, select the forms icon, and select the next form.